Hello and welcome to another episode of the Power Stars
Power
Hour. All right, so I'm Ben Bates,
and I'm Joe Harris.
and today, this episode, we're going to be talking about making Power Stars micro episodes.
So we were originally planning on doing 3D animation. Part of the reason for that is that when you're putting out a lot of animation, you only have to make the 3D background, so to speak, for one area once, then you have it done.
Right. If we could, get instead of drawing, for example, Rockhead Leader Red over and over and over for every single frame, if we could model her once and get her really good looking, then we could just animate that single version of her. And I think that there's a really cool way to do a 3D cartoon that I don't see done with all the versions of the 3D cartoons that are out there. Really, it's about style. Like if you look at Paw Patrol, if you look at Paw Patrol, and Abby Hatcher, I think, is another one, and something about birds with jets. If you look at all three of those cartoons, and I gave you you wouldn't know the difference because they look exactly the same. I think that, but if you look at Adventure Time, if you look at Steven Universe, if you look at Ren and Stimpy, those are three different, you could take screenshots and you would know which one is which right off the bat because the style is so distinct. I think there's opportunities 3D wise, but that's in the future because we just can't make that happen right now. We don't have a single 3D modeler. The time that it would take to build those assets. I mean, the great thing, once you have them built, you can use them over and over again. But until you have them built, that's a long production.
And people that we don't have yet. So we're going with
we have 2D.
Now.
Since there's only three of us, Joe, me, and Kyle, we decided between the three of us, can we make a cartoon? And we can if we go 2D on it and do micro episodes. Micro for us means 3 to 4 minutes. All right, so we're going to make these micro episodes, right? And that we're going to pay for that out. We already are. Everything, we've already spent a bunch of money. It's our money. And right now the Patreon's at $50. So we almost can pay for 1 hour of recording one voice actor. But what we need is to hopefully get the Patreon into a place where it can fund making the first couple of micro episodes, because we're going to run out of money really quickly if we just pay for it ourselves. But we ultimately want to emulate the classic production that most big studios use to fund a cartoon. Most cartoons are made with the idea that they're going to sell toys, and those toys will pay for the production of the cartoon. And so I love that. As a kid, when Ninja Turtles, G.I. Joe, Transformers, I love that there was a cartoon and toys that I could have. I've never thought of that as a bad thing. You'll hear this comment in the animation industry a lot, where people will be like, oh, we're just making 30-minute toy commercials. That's a pretty lame criticism. If you're making a bad cartoon, okay, it's a bad cartoon. But there's no reason that toys and cartoons can't coexist.
If you don't know a lot about Power Stars, check out the website.
Yeah, we just launched the website. It's powerstarsuniverse.com.
So anyway, Ben, you can talk a little bit about where you came from in your past history and why you're doing this.
So I was down in LA, and I was in the animation industry. I was working at Cartoon Network. I spent years at Marvel Animation, and I had pitched Power Stars to both Cartoon Network and Nickelodeon. They both said no. And that's not unusual in the Hollywood world. Rejection is just part of the system. It's not that you created a bad thing, it's just that the timing isn't right or you haven't met the right studio. A quick example, Adventure Time. Adventure Time, Nickelodeon said no to it, and then Cartoon Network picked it up, right? Rejection is just part of the process. I could have kept going to every studio multiple times until maybe they finally said yes. I didn't want to do that. I wanted to make a cartoon now, because even if they said yes, it doesn't mean that your cartoon will ever see the light of day. Jonan Vasquez, who created Invader Zim, he had a show that's called something like Home or House or something like that apparently he developed, if I know the information correctly, for 4 years, and they finished a pilot. It's all ready to go. We could all watch it if they would just release it, but they decided not to for whatever reason. I don't know. So I didn't want to have to go through the constant. I didn't want to have to ask for permission to say, I want to make this cartoon, will you let me do it? I didn't want to do that. I mean, you could kind of say, maybe I'm asking your permission, you know? Hey, my money's going to run out pretty soon. Please help me make this cartoon. I quit the animation industry, left LA, came here, convinced Joe, who used to have a very successful business himself already, something about an oil field or something, but he gave it all up to come here and help make Power Stars. That was a lie. He did work in the oil industry or something, but he wasn't a millionaire. He has some money and I have some money, but that's going to run out real soon. Yeah. So we can't do this by ourselves. We need help. And that's what the Patreon is for. And then right now, it's just the development. But like I said, soon we're going to have those cartoons out. We're going to have some toys out. We're banking on the idea that kids and then adults who still, you know, parents or just people who have the kids still alive inside of them, that they're still going to want to buy toys. And that's what we're teaching ourselves to do right now, is making toys. We'll post up some videos of that pretty soon. If it sounds like something you're into, and that you know, check out the PowerStarsUniverse.com. The teaser trailer for to give a vibe of what the Power Stars cartoon is like is on this YouTube channel. You know, if you haven't seen that already, check that out.
And the Patreon, that's where all of our toys are going right now.
Just today we recorded a voice actor for the Rockhead Red Micro, and we're gonna, you know, we tend to show that kind of stuff off at the Patreon. So if you like learning behind the scenes for how to make a cartoon, or how we're making a cartoon anyway, you know, we're trying to be as open and giving as possible in this early stage.
Yeah, so we hope that you're interested and that you want to check it out.
Yes.